Hey, I'm JJ Snyder for the Red Carpet Report, and I'm at the Season 1 wrap party for the further adventures of Cupid and Eros. What are you going to drink next?
I'm going to get a Lagavulin 12-year Scotch.
Ooh, are you a Scotch drinker normally?
Yes, fairly regularly. Yeah.
What's this whole thing about Scotch? I mean, it's definitely sophisticated.
I guess it is sophisticated. The reality is that my grandfather, when I was like 5, used to hand me glasses of Chivas and be like, "Here, drink this. It'll put hair on your chest." And I developed a taste for it. So.
Okay, do you drink Scotch in the same way that you drink Chivas? Sip.
Do I sip? Yes.
I mean, I think there's a similarity there when I think of the two, right? Maybe the same glass? Even?
Well, I mean, Chivas is a Scotch, so blended, but yeah. There's sipping involved. There's relaxing. There's enjoyment.
Yes.
There's all this stuff.
Is there thought?
Well, hopefully, after like 1 or 2, hopefully not. I've been sleeping a lot lately, so this is,
Is that true?
That is true, because we wrapped on...
What are you, like writing, directing, and producing a web series or something?
Yes, and apparently also post-supervising one as well, which I don't know how to do, so...
You do now?
I do now.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, congratulations on tonight.
Thank you.
It's the wrap party for Season 1.
Woo!
Further adventures of Cupid and Eros.
Yes.
Idea.
I'm a huge nerd, and it's really what it boils down to. I thought it'd be funny if Cupid had a shitty love life. The idea actually started back in college, in part actually because of a comic book, which has not changed the whole I'm a whole nerd thing.
Reason number 2, Avi's a nerd.
I'm a huge nerd.
1, you direct a web series. 2, you like comic books.
I read a lot of Neil Gaiman. So Neil Gaiman, who did the Sandman books, he had this. There was a scene in one issue where it was this banquet hall of all these different gods and mythical creatures, and it was very sort of like elegant. And I was like, okay, that's how Neil Gaiman does it. I'm going to do it in a high school gymnasium. And that was sort of the genesis, and actually that's what we see in episodes 5 and 6, was actually that image of the inner pantheon mixer was sort of where this all started. So
you kind of want to humanize the whole thing a little bit.
Yeah, it's just, well, the crazy thing is that, so like on the surface, I was like, okay, he's the god of love and he can't get a date, right? Okay, that's funny. But then when I started actually rereading all the myths and exploring all these different pantheons and all that stuff, I realized how messed up and just like utterly loser and human, most of these myths are. All of these gods and goddesses, all of that stuff was just ways for humans to understand themselves, and as a result, like, they're basically just as miserable as we are. And so I thought it was, sort of a great way to sort of, play on, all that stuff, as opposed to just doing another comedy about a 20-something slacker who can't get a date. It's, Cupid who can't get a date, or it's, Apollo who's got a chip on his shoulder, or, Pan who utterly can't stand anyone who can't sing on key. I mean, it just seemed like a fun way to do that stuff.
What made you think then of partnering up Eros and Cupid?
I thought that it was interesting to sort of look for subtle differences in the way that, essentially, I mean, that, there's that whole concept, every story's been told, all religions are essentially the same, just filtered through, different stuff. I thought it would be interesting to look at sort of archetypes that were the same, and find ways in which you could just sort of put, a spin. So the basis for that initially was this idea of, okay, I'm going to take the Greek and Roman that are always basically conflated into one, and I'm going to turn them into 2 and try and find sort of shades of meaning between the 2 of them. And so I sort of figured, okay, well, Cupid, everyone thinks of, baby in diapers. Eros sounds like erotic, sounds a little hotter, a little sultrier. And, I thought that was, that was a good sort of pairing, the sort of typical nice guy always in the friend zone, and the, in this case, woman who is just, a complete, player and can have anyone they want and, like, doesn't have to even try.
Okay, so you've done a lot of research behind this idea, and it sounds like a lot of reading and a lot of thought. And then what happened when you turned up in front of the camera and started shooting your first episode? What was that like?
It was like sort of all production. You hope that you did your homework before you did it, and by the time you get on set, it's kind of like, well, we got to make our days, so it's just going to happen.
Right.
You just do what you have to do.
Production at that point. And I heard you have a really amazing crew. A lot of folks that are acquaintances, friends, some people that you went to NYU with.
From the sort of core group that originated were actually all people that I lived in the same building with. We all met because we all lived in the same apartment building. It was during the economic, well, I guess we're still in. It was at the
Here in LA.
Here in LA, it was the height of the economic downturn. We were all out of work. We were all bored, and we realized that we were a writer, director, a producer, an actress, a cinematographer, a script supervisor. And
like an opportunity waiting to happen.
Yeah, it sort of seemed like, unfortunately, none of us were working, so it seemed like it would be really dumb not to take advantage of, the fact that we had half a crew, right there. And so that was, some of the genesis. And then as far as cast went, this season we have literally one of my oldest friends from NYU, Bradford Anderson, is playing Achilles, and Josh Hine, who plays Cupid, is a buddy of mine from NYU as well. Kira Anderson, Bradford's gorgeous wife, is also someone that I sort of knew in passing from NYU and then met and became friendly with via Brad. It was, I'm fortunate that since going to film school and just in general, I've kept my friends close, and most of them are filmmakers or actors or something creative, and I've just sort of been able to be like, hey, I've got this crazy idea. Come help me out.
It's good to have friends, definitely. Okay, and I heard that there will be a season 2.
Well, I hope so. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there is.
What's that contingent on?
Someone wanting to give me some money. I self-funded season 1 completely on my own. And I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would do it for season 2 if I could. We'll see if I make any of my season 1 money back.
Now, your show is broadcast on Mingle Media TV.
On Mingle Media TV, and also at cupidanderos.com. And
what's the response been like?
So far the response has been good. I mean, people seem to enjoy it, which is, what we're hoping for. It's, web series is tough. It's a new medium, and we're all sort of trying to figure it out. And there's also, a lot of stuff out there, and part of the trick is getting through the clutter and, getting people to realize that, you're out there and you've got a show, and, please pay attention to us. And that was actually one of the really great things about partnering up with Mingle Media was we had, at the time that we met the Mingle Media folks, we had already released episodes 1 through 3 and sort of gone through our Rolodex, but then we suddenly had an ally who was like, well, we like your show. We're going to go through our Rolodex too. Yeah. And, that's a big part of it because, the great thing about the internet is that anyone can put anything out there. The bad thing about the internet is that anyone can put anything out there. And so
I hear you. Your show's on Mondays?
We are starting today, actually. Every Monday at the official release time is noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. The reality is, if you tune in before 3/noon, you might find an episode up, but we give ourselves that specific time.
Got a little window.
Just a window, just to make sure, if something goes horribly wrong, that we have a little bit of time. So
excellent. Well, it's been really exciting talking to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So much. Thank you. Appreciate it.